Hello MavMind Collective, my name is Maverick Garner, and this time trick will have your clients chasing you. So I kind of discovered this time trick early on in my sales career, and I want to share it with you today because I think it's pretty interesting. It's always worked for me ever since we discovered it. And I say we because it was myself and my sales rep that I was working with. We had a meeting. It started, and the way we discovered it was this meeting we had in Austin, Texas. So my rep and I had our process. We would prep for every meeting before we meet our clients. I usually did the demos, delivered the demos, and my rep would handle the business side of it. So I'd answer the technical questions during the demo, etc. Right? And usually we set our meetings for about an hour, like 60 minutes. And so this particular meeting we had set a couple weeks in advance. We're going to be there, we're going to come out and see you, and I'll do the demo, and the rep will walk you through a slide presentation. Like what you do. If you're in sales, you know what I mean. You show them some slides, kind of pitch your product, have the demo delivered, and then you answer questions in the remaining time of the 60 minutes. And then right before we were supposed to travel out to Austin to do this, have this meeting, another existing client called us and said, "Hey, will you happen to be in town this week?" And we were like, "Yes, we're actually going to be down the road from you." And they said, "Well, could you please come by, because we're thinking we want to upgrade. We think we want to pay a little bit more money and maybe get the next level license, because we sold the licenses for our software solution, and you could get the next higher license." So we're like, "Oh hell yeah, we'll totally be there." But then they wanted to have it. The only hour they could meet was the hour immediately following the meeting we were going to have already with this new prospect that we had never met with before. So my rep and I are like, okay, how are we going to do this logistically? Like if we have to end the meeting with the prospect and then immediately have to be in another meeting, like literally across town on the other side of Austin, on the other side of the city, how are we going to do it? Because we can't push the times. These are the only times that these two different client and prospects can meet. So we decided we were going to tell the prospect we have to leave 10 minutes early so we can get to our next meeting, which is across town. And they agreed. And when we got there, we reminded them again, hey, by the way, I know this was scheduled for 60 minutes. We only have 50 minutes. We have to leave 10 minutes early, 10 minutes to the top of the hour, so we can get in our car and drive to the other side of town to meet with our client who wants to upgrade with us. So we thought it was also kind of making it like, we have clients, we sell to clients and they want to buy more. And so, we'll give you 50 minutes, that's it. And they agreed, and they said, that's fine. Well, if you're in sales, you know exactly what happens about 10 minutes till. That's when all the questions start happening. That's when all the really good part of the discussion starts to happen. So sure enough, my rep does the slides. She hands it over to me. I show the demo. We start to answer questions. I'm starting to answer technical questions for them, and they're really getting into the solution. The light bulbs are starting to go off. They're like, wow, okay, I totally see how we could use this. Wow, and you could see them kind of, and then 10 minutes till my rep goes, all right, pack it up, let's go. And I look at my watch, I'm like, oh, wow. And I close my laptop, I unplug my, the cord from the charger or whatever on the conference table. We're in like a big conference room or whatever. And I'm like packing up, and we're like, okay, we got to go, bye. And we start walking out, and they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? We're like, we told you we have to leave like 10 minutes. So we're literally walking out because we don't want to miss this appointment with this client who actually wants to give us more money. And the prospect just can't believe it that we actually meant it. Like when we said we had to leave early, and we were just leaving them like cold. And so they follow us out to the hallway, and we're hitting the elevator button, and we're like answering their questions, and they're asking us more questions. We answer. They get into the elevator with us. They ride down the elevator. They follow us out to our car. I mean, we're just trying to get out to our rental car, and we get in, and they're literally standing next to us in the rental car, and we have to roll down the window to keep talking, to keep answering the questions. And as we're backing out, they're like, "Can you send us a quote? Just send us a quote." And we're like, "Sure, we'll send it to you." And then we like drove off and went to the next one with our client, and we barely made it. Driving like 90 miles an hour to get there. And a week later, that prospect called us and said, I'm going to give you a PO. I want to buy this. And my rep and I are like, wow. Like, why? And they're like, because we just want to make sure that if we need to get on your, like, we need to be clients, I guess, in order to get your time, because you're so, you know, like, because they were a prospect, we were willing to leave them for a client. So they, in their minds, I guess, they were like, we need to go ahead and buy this so we can be a client. They probably were going to buy anyway. We just made it accelerated it because of that sense of urgency that it created, I think. And, So my rep and I are like, wow, we should do that every time. Like, no matter what it is, we should just tell them we have to leave 10 minutes early to get to another client, and just like to build the credibility and to like put that pressure on them. And if they're serious about it, like this first prospect was, they'll buy. And if they're not, they'll let it go, and then they'll buy when they're ready. And we won't waste our time. So we did. We started doing it. Every client meeting after that, prospect meeting with a prospect, we would always tell them, we got to leave 10 minutes early. And it would work. Like, we would get more and more accelerated sales that way by leaving a little bit earlier than what was scheduled. And then it was interesting that a few years later, I met a salesman I was working with, and he showed me this book called Pitch Anything. It's called Pitch Anything. And in this book, when I was reading it, this guy and this author talks about exactly this thing that we had discovered. He's like, and he called it a chase frame. You want to create a chase frame for your client. You always want your clients chasing you. And one of the ways you can create a chase frame is to always have less time to meet than they have. So whatever you schedule, if you schedule for 30 minutes, then you only have 25 minutes. If you schedule for an hour, you only have 50 minutes, 55 minutes. You always have a little bit less time to always give that impression that your time is more valuable, slightly more valuable than theirs if they're a prospect. And if they're a client, then you don't do that. If they're a paying client, you always give them as much time as they want, because they've already started paying you. They already have a relationship with you formally through a PO, through a contract. So he validated basically what we had discovered, and I still continue to do that. I still think about how we found out and how we got validated in this book, and I still do it to this day. So I'm going to encourage you to if you've never done this before, the next meeting you have with your client, go ahead and just tell them, schedule it for the time that they want, but tell them in an email or when you get there that, hey, I'm going to have to cut out about 5 minutes early, and then actually 5 minutes till, get out of there. Just get and see what happens. And if they really are serious, they'll chase you. They'll follow you in the elevator. They'll follow you out. If they're intrigued and they think they want to buy it, they'll follow you. And it's a good way to really justify it and really close them on it, actually. And if they're not serious, then they won't think nothing of it, and they'll say, okay, see you later, thanks. And then you'll know that it's not a high priority for them. And it's better to know from a prospect early on if it's important enough or not. And that's one of the ways you can do it, and kill 2-3 birds with one stone. Anyways, if you found this story and this time trick valuable, please subscribe to this channel or go to MavMind.com and just sign up for my emails. I'll send you emails when I put out new videos like this, or when I have a new course that you can enroll in and take and learn and get into the depths of, like the masterclass of MavMind method, or anything else, book I'm writing or publish or whatever, and you want to read it. Or listen to the audiobook, you can learn about it at MavMind.com by signing up. So I hope this is valuable and worth your time. Please leave a comment, please subscribe, tell me what you thought, and encourage me to keep doing it, and I will. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.